Good evening. This is the Elliott wave update for the NASDAQ 100 for Sunday, May 8th, 2022. An interesting opening thus far. Lately, I have been discussing pretty much about within Elliott wave and within a third wave, we have what is commonly referred to as a point of recognition. And it's at that point that the market players, whomever realizes, okay, upside's off the table for right now, and we are going to move lower in this case. Point of recognition can also occur to the upside, so don't misunderstand. It's just within this particular count, we are counting a larger degree, an intermediate degree, third wave down. And within those third waves, normally within the minor third wave within it, that we get that point of recognition. And often it is about the halfway point in the move. But what it does is open a door. So here's what I'm thinking. If that point of recognition, and by the way, if you read other sources, if you get news blurbs from Seeking Alpha or other sites, quite more frequently, at least over the last couple of days, I've been reading about, or just reading the headlines that are talking about, upside off, this is going to happen, we are going to drop precipitously, et cetera, et cetera. I've actually not really reading anybody making crash-like projections or predictions, but discussing a substantial drop below. And I'm not sure what brought that change about. A clean enough break below 13,000, a break below, the lows that we've had so far around 12,700. Right now, that picture remains the same. So let me just delve in here. On the daily, there are no changes. We're continuing to track the minor third, and within it, that's where we start to get a little bit wondering why or what. And this is where we get a little bit of clarity, because I talked about this third wave and about its structure. I talked about, as I left it, that we likely needed to do a little bit of a fourth wave and then drop down. And in the fifth, thought 12,575 may come into the picture. It sure did. In fact, we've gotten down to 12,519, and that happened on Friday. So that stands, and that's actually the break level. And you'll know more as I finish this out. So if I'm going to consider that this drop now completed minute wave one, so again, that first step, and now we're into that small corrective phase, which totally does set up the trap door to open and prices just to go swoosh. Now, if it is that trap door, that could be cranked open if we break now, if we break below 12,519. If we go to a new low and we do it with a little bit of pressure, so in other words, a little bit of acceleration, sellers with more purpose, they are looking for bids, they are looking to get out. And so when we start to see that, it's going to produce and cause the break below 12,519. And whether that happens here in Globex or if it holds and then happens tomorrow, it should carry the same message. So the other side of that coin, because we're not there yet, so the other side of that coin, I'm going to drop down to the 30. So because I want to see the inside all this, because what we can have is an ABC down, which would be a B wave, and we still can do a C wave up, which would suggest we first go up and get back above 12,930. And if we get above 12,930, then we are just finishing a minute wave two. And then we literally drop off the cliff. Now, again, whether this happens between now and our opening here in the United States. And then it's still going to be the same, and it's still going to deliver the same message. Eventually, I am looking for that point of recognition to absolutely open the trap door, and everybody just kind of falls through. So whether it turns into that type of a trap a bunch of buyers up here, and then they just whoosh, and then it just goes. That's a possibility. So fitting that into the larger dialogue, basically, that, okay, this point of recognition is coming. What that does suggest, if it truly is, and I believe it is just a matter of when and not if. So let me just also interject here and say that I am not looking for a major break higher, as we have seen last Wednesday, that huge rally, that huge short covering. I am not looking for that same type of a move. That doesn't mean it can't happen. I wasn't expecting this size of a move either, but here's what we would look for. Already, just to get it up above the A wave, it needs to get back above 12,930 is what we were just looking at. And then, so on the way, it's got to get above the 50, and it's got to get above the 20. Now, if it does that with power, with a little bit of oomph behind it, like they're just coming in, somebody's hitting the buy button and they don't care, then yeah, it can go up and it can touch, and then the trap door opens. That can happen, but that would be the signal that we're likely into that. Same on the deal going down. Not that we have moving averages to break, but we have that low. And if it breaks that low, 12,519, I think that could be an acceleration point. That could be, okay, we broke the previous low with new lows, and you give it a little bit extra shove. And the reason probably comes in is that if we're following Fibonacci, the next Fibonacci support area is 12,273. So it's a 300-point drop from approximately where we are now. So this is going to be important. And also as important is just to watch to see how they're trading it. Now they just come in and they start buying it. Now that we're still pretty, we're far enough away, but here we are knocking it down, came up, gave it not even a test, and they just start buying it. But right now it's an ABC and it's a zigzag. So all cards are on the table, but we look for how things want to build. That tells us which likely very near term, in other words, very short term, pattern needs to play out. The downside, I believe, will continue. And it isn't a matter if it will, it's when it will. It may first go up here and touch and put in this C wave, and that's going to just be above that level. 12,930. So above 12,928.75 is all that C wave needs to do. But usually it's like, give it that a little extra push. And that would be nice, because we've gotten within 50 points of that low. So maybe it wants to go over a little bit, gets up to 950-ish, which is a resistance zone. The 200 sits at 916. So all in all, a little bit of resistance right there. That may complete it. And then we turn and we're going. Now, if we are truly going to be in that point of recognition, 50% of 12,273, it'll be a pause. 11,970, it will be a pause right along with 12,000. So in other words, 12,000 may come in, everybody takes a look, say hit it a few more times, gets down to 11,970, and then we do a bounce. But it just is a pause. The larger minor third projects down to here. Minimally projects down to 10,991. I am looking for more, because that is just where minor 3 would be equal to minor 1. And third waves are the largest and the longest and the strongest, etc. So that would be a minimum. But as these break, I do expect a pause. You get a little bounce, but I'm not looking for a major bounce. And if they occur, well, then we have to take a stop and we take a look and we see what's going on. And it could be, that we did finish a little bit bigger of a 5, and we're doing a 3-wave up. But they're building blocks, and I consider that we should be going down for a little bit more time and more consistently. We have thus far. Now we're picking it up again after that last Wednesday's folly of running up the markets as much as they did. Ultimately, still looking for minor 3 to get us down to 94.07. Then we do a minor 4, and then we do a minor 5. And so what's been extended down, because before we had 9,000, that could still be in the picture to finish the intermediate third. Then we have another intermediate 4th wave and an intermediate 5th wave before we finish that primary level. So and this is stretching it out. So now we're out beyond May and into the summer months, basically. So, but here, a minor 4th wave should be a very nice and decent bounce and would likely contain a lot of what we saw right in here. This was a 2. We'd look for the 4, but more in a flat, but it could have 1 or 2 of these little numbers in it. So it should be very tradable and very fun. But right now, I don't believe on this minute level, we're going to get decent bounces. Like on Friday, we went down and hit that, and we bounced 100 and it's 25. We bounced $300, 300 points off of that low. So all nice, tie it up nightly in expiration. So the bounces can happen. They can be intense. One thing, I wanted to mention, and I know a lot of you guys have already checked it out, is I had left a video over the weekend and talking about the masterclasses that I'm going to be participating within Ninjacators next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And I want to just discuss it again very briefly, if I may, and thank you for listening, is that they're going to, it actually with me, but in total, there will be 3 or 12 hours of trading time where participants who come in and they are paying for the workshops will be able to come in during the trading, and I will be trading, and I will be trading live, and I will be talking about all this live. I will be updating and I'll be showing you in a live market how it all pulls out and how I interpret it and how one trades it. So if you would like to just experience some live trading, go back and check out it's the trade. It's the video that I put up over the weekend. I'm sorry. I want to go out and take a look at it. But it is the workshops. It's the trade setup workshops. And it actually is from May the 10th through the 13th. And so as far as the NASDAQ goes for tomorrow, and by the way, thank you for listening on that. I think it's well spent just to have the trading time, just to come in and as we trade and be able to ask questions. That's the other important thing. That's why you're there. You can ask questions. So a good time will be had by all. For tomorrow, ultimately, I am looking for the point of recognition downside trading to kick in and continue. And what may occur first is we could do a swing back up into what I would consider a C wave as a part of a minute wave too. So here's the minor. Now we're doing a smaller minute. And there's its limitations, here to here. So I'd be looking kind of like almost a flat, a little bit higher. Once that's over, I anticipate that the downside will kick back in. We may see that upside move and be all done by the time we all show back up tomorrow morning and get our computers turned on. If not, that's what I would be looking for. Otherwise, if we break below 12,519, it could be signaling that point of recognition downside style trading has kicked back in. Now, for that to truly, I think, kick in, we're going to need the participation of Asian markets and then European markets, because as the world wakes up around the globe, and things begin to be digested and new things get to be put in to our thoughts. Okay, I am going to end it there. The moving averages, just to kind of tack on the last thing, on the hourly chart, moving averages are all pointing down. Even the 200, you can see, is now angling. So everything's angling lower. I take a quick peek at that daily. Daily, same thing. Again, you can see that the 200 is flat, but it is starting to angle, as is the 50 and the 28 and the 4 are all angling strongly lower. All right, so our next update will be on Monday, May the 9th.